This is episode 40 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Drew Breneman of Breneman Capital. This firm specializes in multifamily real estate. Drew actually started at 19, which we're going to get into. He's also the host of Breneman Blueprint, another real estate investing podcast, which we hope you check out. Drew, welcome to the show. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you too. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, let's go right into this. 19 years old. You got started at 19 in investing, but before that, did you have an interest in real estate? Because that's what's always like, it's a curious point for me.
Yeah, I mean, I did just from like a, not from an investment standpoint, obviously as a kid where you don't know about that. But yeah, I did as, we went on vacation. I forgot how old I was, but one year for spring break to Florida. Probably was like around 12 years old. And the thing that I liked the most about that vacation, I still remember, was going through getting those magazines of the houses for sale that you could get at the hotel or wherever at the restaurant. And then just seeing like what the prices were in these mansions that were available in Florida, where we went to Tampa. And then instead of, I was interested in having my parents drive me around, let's look at some beach houses instead of, playing on the sand or whatever a normal kid would do. And I still do that. Like my favorite thing to do if I am on vacation is go look at where the really nice houses are at.
But I feel like figuring out the investing and then that calculation that you just said is like an enhancement of the flipping, of the video game stuff, but it all follows the same. Like a lot of us are house flippers now, and it's the same thing. And I think what you were saying when you were saying it, I was thinking of Gary Vee with his, going to yard sales. Yeah. He's like, showing people how you can make like $11 on a Beanie Baby. But like you said, if you do it 100 times a week, like you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. And then where it just added up, where at one point I remember looking at my eBay account going, this is crazy. I have 5,000 reviews. But that literally was just, a couple a day for, years. And then it added up. And I learned so much about business. I was listening to a couple episodes before we got of yours. And one of the lessons that I really liked that you mentioned was just learning by doing is what you were advocating for, where that's what I did with that business. I didn't have any coach, or I didn't go to online retail boot camp or anything. I just started buying and selling, and I got better over time and learned how to negotiate. But it was just kind of one deal at a time learning. And that's how I've done real estate too. I'd never I did, my college major was in real estate, where I went, they had a degree in that undergrad. But by the time I got to most of the topics that were covered, I'd already done it, where we got to our, investment class and I'd already bought 3 properties. So, right. I really like that point that you had made. Cause my whole career has been real big on just learning by doing, and then observing others, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's really like the ultimate house hack for a young investor, because you're house hacking your own unit and then you're getting experience as like a one-off landlord for the other unit. But you really have a lot of tenant management. Did you feel like you learned a lot? And then especially later, like what you didn't want to do in terms of like managing a property? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's cool, I'll just be a landlord. Never, like, that's not fun. Nobody has fun being a landlord.
I think one of the important things in this whole business is your mindset. And, I think I went into it with the right approach, where I didn't have like a big ego to like check at the door. So if someone's got a problem, like I was helpful. I didn't. So being the landlord never bothered me. And the second place I lived in, there were 14 bedrooms, I think, in that house, where it was 3 units, and it was, let's just add them up. I expanded the first floor into the basement on the first floor unit. So there were 7 there, and then 5 and 5. So it was 17 bedrooms. And so there was, at least 7, college rental, there's at least 17 people living there. Maybe it was 19 with a couple double ups.
Yeah.
But that is but even with having to manage that many people and whatnot, no, I was able to do it. And I feel like something important, and I did read that in the Gary Eldred book, he recommended on your first deals, you need to manage them yourself. You're going to learn a lot doing that. And then you're going to understand, if you end up hiring out the management, what you're actually hiring out and paying for.
Yeah, and then
So,
you know where they're skimming. I mean, the trouble with property management is there's a lot of skimming going on. So if you've done it, you know exactly how much the stuff costs and how to manage. I think what you've been saying, though, it also matches with the book that has influenced your career a lot, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So you must be a relationship builder this way. How did that book, help you go through these worlds of real estate in the same way as we were talking about?
Well, yeah, that was one of those books that I read in high school, fortunately, where then I got kind of on that whole, like, those sort of self-help as well as personal finance sort of lane. But I mean, just the lessons in that are so great with using people's names and smiling and stuff that just seems so basic. Yeah. But no one had ever told me that at that point. So, I mean, I guess until I was like 17, I would meet someone and be like, hey, how's it going? And not look at them or use their name or smile, which now it seems crazy. But I think a really underrated, and why I would have told you if that was a big impact, that book was, a real underrated thing is just being likable in general in business, where, you can, when I think about the brokers that like I would call back first on the investment sales side, it's probably whoever's like the most fun to talk to. Yeah. Which is totally weird to say out loud. It's not the person who's got the, whatever, the biggest track record or explain their deal the best in the voicemail. It's like just, it's my own business. I'm free to call back whoever I want and not call others. And I want to, you just pick whatever's more enjoyable probably first, just by like, just sort of naturally. And that goes a long way, just kind of everywhere, where if, you'll go the extra mile for somebody that you like, for someone who's been a pain.